Parashat
Pekudei.
Rabotai, this parasha, fantastic, amazing. Why is it amazing? Because you can take this parasha, learn lessons from it as a boss, as a worker, as a husband, spouse, everything. Amazing parasha. Amazing parasha. By the way, this shiur is לרפואה שלמה of חיים ישראל ben Batya Halevi, להצלחה of Eitan Naftali ben Yitzchak Shalom, and לעילוי נשמת Freya bat Sarah, and I can see over there Reuven ben Mazal, Mazal bat Zilpa, and Hinda Gittel bat Chaim Yitzchak Halevi.
Rachel bat Sarah.
רחל בת שרה, רפואה שלמה. רפואה שלמה, רפואה שלמה. וכל חולי ישראל, and all the captives should come home free. Amen. Set the captives free. Set the captives free. Exodus, Exodus. Anyway, so this is the last parasha of Sefer Shemot. I mean, hey guys, time is not waiting for everybody. Time is moving. Time is dynamic. I can't believe it's Friday. I'm still tired from last Friday. I didn't get the rest. I don't know what happened to the week. So there's something here to learn. Just please pay attention. Am Israel, Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, the Jews, always complained. While they were in the desert, guys, let me tell you, they always complained. Complained they didn't have food. They got food, they didn't like the food. They didn't have water, they had water, they complained they were bitter. Everything was a complaint. Everything was a complaint. And every time they complained, as a result of this complaining, they did something wrong. As they did something wrong, guess what? Got whacked. That's always like that. The only time that Bnei Israel did not complain in the time while they were in the desert is in this parasha or in the parashiot in which we are talking last week and so on and so forth, when we're talking about building the Mishkan, building the tabernacle. The only time that you don't hear them complaining is that, which is really amazing. I mean, hey, say what you want to say about Jews, but you ask them for money, they're like, hey, I'm gonna have to give money. What's the minimum amount I have to give? You know, all that wonderful stuff, right? Guys, you need to give a helping hand here to build the Mishkan. Nothing. I mean, they raised so much money in like 2 days. They just gave Mishkan. Let's go. Throw it like this. They didn't count. I mean, they didn't complain about the crazy schedule that they had, or oh my goodness, now we have to worship and we have to bring sacrifices only there. Before, if I want to bring a sacrifice, I would take my barbecue on the deck watching a canal. I'll bring korbanot to Hashem, and that will be fine. Today, no, I have to go to the Mishkan. They don't even complain about that. Now, something so phenomenal to stop the Jews from complaining really needs a tremendous observation and understanding what exactly is going on here. And there are two factors to that. Something that I read from Rav Jonathan Sachs, alav shalom, he explained something fantastic. That the tabernacle, the Mishkan, is the only place and the only time that Am Yisrael was asked to do something. As we say, nidrash la'asot ma'aseh, they were commanded, do something. And they were commanded not to count on miracles, not to sit down, kick back and wait for Mashiach to come and he will do everything for you, but which, by the way, it's not going to happen like that. Not to sit back and to see the glory of Hashem and the miracles that He's creating for you, but rather to build something by yourself, to be an active partner in building. Now that is something you need to understand very, very carefully and remember this very well. Again, it doesn't make a difference if you're a worker, or you're a boss, or you're a husband, or you're a wife, or you're a cat, or I don't care what you are. But remember this, that when a person is able to express himself, There's no privilege there. He's able to express himself. He doesn't have a need to complain about anything. When a person knows that his private possession or his creation is what caused that result, he's going to be very happy about what he did. So in order to allow the Shekhinah to come among Am Yisrael, to dwell among us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a chance to Am Yisrael to build the Mishkan by themselves. Ve'asu li Mishkan. They should do it. Not me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to make a miracle. I'm going to make a Mishkan coming down from Shamayim for you. No, that's not going to do it. You don't understand. People like they think, those concepts of what the Midrashim tells us is an idea that is tremendous depth in it, and you should, have an intelligence of maybe like a little bit over a 5-year-old to understand that this is something for you to learn from, not to actually wait for it to happen, that some kind of a structure is going to come from heavens, with you sitting down like this. It doesn't work like that. And it doesn't work like that for the very simple reason. You need to build it. And how does it say? Thank you. How does it say? Kol do shelo nivna bo Bet HaMikdash. Bet HaMikdash, building the temple, is a process. Is not about looking for the end result. Is all about the process of continuously building it. Just like any relationship. Most people think, all right, I got married, that's it, Zayin Gesund. Good luck, I don't have to do anything. While we were dating, I got you everything. I came home, brought you home in a Ferrari, on a Rolls Royce, on a Maybach, brought you flowers, brought you cakes, whatever you want. Took you to restaurants, yes my darling, yes my this, Clementine, whatever. Comes the wedding, put the ring, goodbye, good luck. I don't have to invest anymore. This is so wrong. It's absolutely a mistake. You have to continuously investing and building, and that prevents a lot of problems, Rabbatai. Now you think about this. You think about this idea, which is a tremendous idea. The Zohar teaches us that in the universe there are certain network of laws that according to them the universe operates, and the whole purpose is really to connect us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to connect us to the endless good that comes from God continuously to us all the time. And it's, again, this is all associated with the Mishkan itself. Alright, amazing children that he done made again. So the Zohar says that in order to continue that heavenly flow coming down to us from those upper worlds to our worlds, from the spiritual worlds to the physical realm, we need to act in almost imitating whatever quality this light has, and trying to apply this to our lives and to our actions as well. In other words, we need to divide it, or to share it, should I say, not divide, to share it and to pass it on further. You can't just be the one that it ends by you. That's why there is a mitzvah, a commandment of giving tzedakah. You give tzedakah to continue giving. That's why, you want to, when we say B'Tselem Elokim bara et ha'adam, in the image of God. What does it mean, the image of God? What do you think? God has a beard? What do you think? God has dandruff? Come on, what does it mean? Yes, if you think so, what can I tell you? Ask for a refund. Somebody told you you're a genius. You're not. B'Tselem Elokim is imitating the qualities of God. Giving. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us money? For me, is to put it in the bank and to just save it for a rainy day. Get an umbrella if it rains, or just walk in the rain and enjoy it. Go sing it in the rain as far as I'm concerned. Gave it to you to share it. Okay, of course, you got to be responsible with that as well. We see what responsibility has to do with this parasha. But you got to give. You got to share. Now, if God gives, one guy gives money, the other one he gives brains, share the brains. Share it. Share it. If you are a math wizard, so help kids without charging. Help kids actually like math. I'll tell you a story. When I was in elementary school and the beginning of high school, before I went to the Air Force Academy, I had to tell the truth, lousy teachers. And why they were lousy teachers? Because they hated teaching and they made it difficult for us. So, guess what? Yours truly was a failure. Yes, I'm not embarrassed to say it. I was a failure. I was a failure in math. I was a failure in physics. I was a failure in English. Even though I could speak English better than anybody in my class, but came to test, I just messed up. Until I actually went to the Air Force Academy, and I had teachers that loved what they did and saw that it was a sense of a mission for them to teach people. The first test that I got was 100. I never got 100 in physics in my life. When I brought it home, my father said to me, he said, "What, did you cheat?" I said, "No, I got it." I couldn't believe it myself. And the same thing happened with math. I became such a fan of math that some people do Scrabble. I used to do algebra for fun. I just loved it. It just made so much sense to me. It's amazing. So you need to share it. So why you have to charge? If you're so smart and you know so much Torah, why are you sitting by yourself? Why aren't you teaching? If you're so smart to be a lawyer, I mean, that's why I like law. Because in law, it's recommended to some lawyers, especially those who become slip and fall lawyers, which are like vultures. There is such thing as called pro bono. Pro bono. Yeah, work for free a little bit. Help some people cannot be helped. I mean, somebody needs to help these people, but learn to give from yourself. And it's very important. In a way, I'm going to tell you those who are contemplating or maybe becoming lawyers, is in a way, to our society, lawyers could serve as the guardians of democracy and the guardians of our society. If they become good lawyers, but if they're just money-hungry, motivated people, it's a missed opportunity. Now, let's go back to our parasha. So, when we able to share that light and to push it on, share it and let pass it over to other people, we're creating abundance. If we stop it and it stops by us, we're going to create a change of form, and we're going to create a disconnection or disconnect from the source of abundance. It will be almost like, take the example of our body. Blood is flowing all over our body all the time. And therefore our body functions and operates. If I'm going to take a rubber band and I'm going to put it on your pinky and I'm going to put it tight and I'm going to close that flow of chi, of energy, of blood to your finger is going to get deformed. It's going to hurt. And then it's going to fall. And so is to us. But you becoming stingy and not willing to share, whether it's money, abilities, and so on and so forth. You're not willing to volunteer. You're not willing to share the burden. For me, it bothers me to no end, the mindset that certain people have in Israel. By all means, don't go to the army, don't share, don't serve, don't help, don't nothing. Just sit down and sit on your stand there and so on. Oh, but Torah is very important. Torah is very important. But Torah that does not translate itself to fixing society, there's something wrong with that. It's not executing the light of the Torah outside. We should not give up learning Torah, but we should contribute to our society the best of our abilities, actively contributing. Now, I don't care what kind of hat you wear on your head. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's my opinion, and my opinion is based on this parasha, and you'll see, Bezrat Hashem, why. The Zohar explains to us that the difference between a tzaddik, a righteous man, to a rasha, a wicked man, a person, is very simple. Rasha, Rashi Tevot, Ratzon, shel atzmo, his own self-will. It's all about me. I don't care what I want to do. What I want to do. It's never what I should do. What God wants me to do. It's all about what I want to do. How can you tell me that you are a believing person in God when it's all about you, not about what God wants you to do? Now, that selfish, the Rasha, by the wicked person, his selfishness overcomes him and overwhelms him. And the ability of a tzaddik to be able to identify that will, right? That desire, that urge that we all have. That we all have. Everybody. If somebody tells you has no urges, either something is wrong with him or he's an absolute liar. Everybody has. But the tzaddik is the ability of him to do what? One second. How is this week's Parashat? What's the name?
Pekudei.
What?
Pekudei.
Pekudei. Pekudei. What's it Pekudei? To count, right? Lifkod. Count the three. Also, Pekudei, Rashi Tevot, the root of the word Pekudei is Pei Kuf Dalet. Pakad. Lifkod. How do we say commander in Hebrew? Mefaked. So that tzaddik has the ability to command himself, to take charge of himself, and to control it. To know, to have the ability to concentrate and to focus on light, to focus on giving, or to turn the will to receive only for me, to receiving in order to give. Receive in order to give. Now, there's a big secret here if you'll be able to understand what I'm saying to you. And only in this way we're going to be able to reach true freedom, which is a problem. True freedom, which we receive in Har Sinai, as we said before, charut ala luchot, right? Charut means engrave. However, Chachamim says, al tikra shmo charut, ela chirut ala luchot. Chirut means freedom. Freedom, by the way, is not anarchy. Anybody knows what freedom is? And don't tell me Eric for him, because you didn't read the book, the one I told you. Do you want me to lend it to you so you can actually read it, and then you don't have no excuses? Okay. So what's freedom? Everyone knows what freedom is. To do what you want, to
Knowledge.
do feel like what?
Knowledge.
Freedom is knowledge. Freedom is knowledge. I know many people who are very knowledgeable, pretty not free. So let me tell you what freedom is.
Ability to choose.
The ability to choose.
You can also not be free.
That's also, how much of your choosing is actually your choosing, not what you were programmed to choose, or forced to choose, or, this is what my society or my community does, so I have to do it, or everybody does it, so I have to do it. Even with that, let me show you what freedom is, Be'ezrat Hashem. Parashat Pekudei comes to teach us, Rabotai, pay very close attention, that the way to achieve that freedom is by taking responsibility. To reach freedom is to take responsibility on ourselves and on the society in which we live in. Now, and to understand the great danger when we are not going by the concept of lifnei iver lo titen mirshol, not stumbling a person. I don't care what he does, leave me alone. What do I care from him? Taking responsibility, the parasha comes to teach us what we call the mifkad, the counting that Bnei Israel had in order to count, really, and how much money and gold and silver and copper, whatever they use for the Mishkan and the Kilim, and to compare that to whatever we needed, to what was collected from the people, to teach us also that transparency is very important. Transparency is very important, And we need transparency in order to have appropriate functioning society. For example, right? If you are here, Sam, do me a favor. You have a telephone on you? All right. Who has a telephone on them? All right. Do a search quick, sir. What's the salary of a congressman?
180,000. No, did you look it up?
No, yeah, hurry up. Congressman. A woman, or whatever.
Salary of a congressman.
174.
$174,000. Now explain to me, how is it possible you make $174,000 out of 2 years that you are elected, or 4 years you are elected, you're already running by a few $1 million. How is this possible? Is this a miracle? No, it's simply called robbery. All this insider trading and tips and so on and so on. It's just impossible. I mean, a guy could become, I don't know, before he got elected was a bartender, and all of a sudden he's sitting on like a few $1 million. How is it possible? You only making 174. It doesn't make sense. Because there's no transparency. Because there's no transparency in that, guess what? We have a society that is crooked and corrupt. When there are such things that are called black budgets, when we don't know where the money is going, what is being done, that there's no transparency, that's a problem. And so on and so forth. Now, it doesn't make a difference if you're running a country, or you're running a shul, or you're running your own life with your wife or husband. You need transparency in what's going on there. So even in a case like this, when Moshe Rabbeinu was in charge of collecting, right? I mean, would we suspect Moshe Rabbeinu from stealing or something? No, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Like, come on, it's Moses, right? He's another over there brother, right? Named Moses, right? But every society needs to have its own rules and laws in place that would deliberately from the beginning prevent any kind of suspicious or any kind of betrayal of trust or any form of something like this. In other words, if you're a prime minister, you cannot order the country to build you a swimming pool in your house in Caesarea. Mm-hmm. Now I don't care if your hair is purple or whatever it is, but yeah, they cannot do it. Or somebody buy you cigars, or I don't know, whatever in the world you do with your cigars, it's not my business, but you know what I'm saying. Now, if we also chose to ignore any wrongdoing or any fault that is going on in our society, and we're not taking responsibility to try to change it or to try to stop it, we are also collaborators in that wrongdoing. Chazal tells us, din shtika kedgin noda'a. The fact that you're not saying anything, it means you agree with it. That's why I don't say, I said to everybody, there are no innocent people in Gaza. Why? Because they all said anything. I've never seen anybody demonstrating against Hamas. I mean, according to their number, there's what, 2 million Palestinians? How many Hamas are there? 30,000? There are 2 million! If you see any Palestinian coming out and saying, excuse me, there's hostages over there, no, so you're all guilty. I don't care what the government, what the president says, or the vice president says, or I don't care who cares says what.
Exactly.
Of course, they always pick on Israel. The only democracy in the area. Right? And this is wrong. Also, all the schmucky Schumers and all the other bright lights. So now, and that makes you also collaborators with that. And anybody sent a letter and say, or an email to your representative, Mr. Schumer, about these things? Are you also in agreement with that? Why don't you send a letter? Any of you, all of you are listening or here present, denouncing your making your words be heard, even if it's a staffer. Listen, buddy, what are you doing? How dare you? Or to, what's her name? Kamala Harris, whatever her name is. Right? So, and when we are collaborators, it's like we did it ourselves. Right? A free man means is a person who is responsible for his surrounding and to create an environment around us that is also clear from any kind of suspicions and accusations and so on and so forth, any kind of gossip, any kind of fears. And a society that implants fears into people, it's a rotten society. A society that is not going to allow people to kind of seduce them to betray the trust or the job in which we gave to them, right? In other words, as some general in Israel said to the Israeli government, even though he used to wear a kippah and now he doesn't wear it anymore, but still he said something very smart, you should act in a way that is going to be, you need to be worthy for us, basically. And that's called, in Hebrew, a job or assignment is called tafkid. When you have a job, when you have an assignment, you also have control. So that's why when we encourage people not to have a tafkid, in other words, we encourage people not to work, we encourage slavery, we don't encourage freedom. Where we were mafkid, where we deposited the job in their hand, it was we made you in charge of that. That's the word, you see the beauty of Hebrew, that there's a deeper meaning to the words beyond just what we know. We need to create an atmosphere that it's really clean, that would allow us true spiritual growth. And in our society, in the West today, there's no spirituality whatsoever. They say about a young guy that finished his studies in some kind of an art school, whatever it is, and he really wanted to check his abilities, to test his abilities before he goes out, so-called, to the world. So he took a whole, a bunch of paint and so on and so forth, and canvas, and he really made this elaborate, beautiful painting. And he put it on a special stand that he made, and he put it in one of the local malls. And on the bottom he wrote like this: I'm a beginner painter, and I would be very happy to hear criticism on my painting. And anybody who sees a mistake or something wrong with the painting, please take this black ink or pen and just circle or make an X on the problem, and I'll know how to fix it. Okay? Okay. Next day he comes back to the mall, and all of a sudden he says, oh my goodness, the whole entire painting is full with X's. Yonatan, you would like this one. It's full with X's. So he takes this painting, devastated, he's going to his teacher, and he said to him, listen, maestro, look what happened. This is terrible. I guess I'm never going to be a painter. This is, that's it, I'm done. So his mentor said to him, tranquilo, hombre, tranquilo. Leat, leat. Paciencia. Sablanut. Can you do me a favor? Let me ask you something. Could you make me the same exact painting all over again? The guy said, yeah, I guess so. I'll do it. He goes in, takes him like a week, and makes the same exact painting. And the teacher takes the painting, and they put it on the same stand, but in a different mall. So people will not see it. It goes to a different mall. But they wrote at the bottom this time. They wrote like this: I'm a beginning painter, and I'm interested in receiving criticism of my painting. Anybody that sees any problem or any mistake in my painting, I would be very happy if it would make it better and fix it and make it better.
On the spot.
Next day he came, and he sees that nobody touched the painting. So his teacher tells him, you see the difference? You know what's the difference? The difference is very simple. To say what is wrong, everybody can tell you what is wrong. But to fix and to make things better, nobody is willing to do it, and nobody wants to do it. In other words, they just want to complain. To criticize from the outside, which of course is the easiest thing to do, but to give a good way, to connect, to do something that is actually good, that's already too much. And that's why we need to take a true responsibility, personal responsibility, and to really learn and practice how to be our own commanders, to take charge. When we teach people, let's say we have a group of people that were slaves, but we never taught them to take responsibility for their lives. In other words, we said to them, don't worry, you'll be free, but you don't have to work. I'll give you money, I'll give you horses, I'll give you cows, I'll give you food. You never made them free. You told them they're free, but they're never free. That's why when, according to halacha, if you have a slave and you set him free, you have to give him something that he can start his own business, his own life for himself. Not to live off charity, so he can get his own job, his own parnasa, his own dignity. But what we do, we tell people they're free, but we still make them dependent on us. And that's not freedom. So real freedom is your ability to be responsible for your life. If you are not responsible for your life, you are not free. If you are not able to take charge of your life, you're not the commander of your life. You're not commander-in-chief, you're commander-in-cheese. You're nothing. And that's the time for us to take responsibility on ourselves. So when Am Yisrael is an active partner in a positive construction, there are no complaints. There are no complaints. And the Mishkan, the tabernacle, is the baby of Am Yisrael. That's why everybody, it was in the center of the nations when they were, always when they rested or when they traveled, which is a whole thing by itself, a whole drasha by itself. It was always in the center. It was always in the center because you guys built it. And we need to build it. And by doing so, Am Yisrael made the Mishkan and made themselves appropriate for the heavenly presence to dwell amongst them and in it. Now on that, it says, V'kvod Hashem maleh et hamishkan. Maleh et hamishkan. מה זה maleh? מילה, מה זה maleh? מה זה maleh? מה זה maleh? So the Rambam pays attention to that thing. The Rambam in Moreh Nevuchim, Chelek Aleph, Perek Yutet, says the following, refers to the concept of maleh. It sees in the word maleh something that is joined together, a communal effort. In other words, it sees it as a word. The word maleh represents a joint meaning to all. Everybody felt that they are part of that thing together. Maleh, that is, when we all refer to something, when we all feel that we are contributing to this one thing. You want to talk about Kvod Shamayim? That's what Kvod Shamayim is. Kvod Shamayim is not that you're going to go and start screaming and wearing coats and being a super machmir and so on and so forth. Kvod Hashem is when you are creating an image or some kind of an idea that everybody can tap in and join in. For example, Daf Yomi. When you do Daf Yomi, that's Kvod Hashem. Everybody taps in. When they fill up Giant Stadium or MetLife or whatever in the world they call it, and there's like 80,000 people, that's Kvod Hashem. When Am Yisrael is together around one concept, that's Kvod Hashem. I put it on the chat. There's going to be on Tanit Esther. There's going to be a time. I forgot what time it is, but you look at this when 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Everybody should stop what they're doing and say Shema Yisrael at the time. But the whole entire world, everybody's going. All Am Yisrael is going to say Shema Yisrael. You don't know what's going to be. You don't know how it's going to change things. But that's Kvod Hashem. Even if nothing happens, we did Kvod Hashem. We united all Am Yisrael together. The unity for something that it's important to us. Now, if we don't know how to understand it in a positive way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to find a different way Sometimes it's very painful for us to get around, to have meaning to all of us to unite around, like, unfortunately, those captives. We need to understand that. So, as we said regarding Betzalel, that is maleh b'chokhmah, right? Milah או בחוכמה, מה זה מילה בחוכמה? זה כבוד השם, when it feels something, when everybody feels that they could contribute and give and donate, that is Kvod Hashem, that is Kiddush Shem Shamayim Barabim, that is Hashrat Shechina. And we need to understand that. We need to create communities. I saw this thing, again, I put this on the chat also. This guy was a top investigator in the Israeli security, Bukhari guy, that he said, he had the, whatever, a long case over there, and he says his grandfather told him, build shuls. When you take something from yourself, to build a shul is expensive. To build something, to build a shul, what's so important? What's so important in building a shul? Oh, we need another shul. To build a shul is a place that people come together for the sake of Hashem. Of course, when you build a shul to create machloket, that's not Kvod Hashem. But when you build a shul with the right reason, so people can come in, so people will have a place to pray, then you make this into Bet Mikdash Me'at. As a matter of fact, you actually make this into Bet Mikdash. And therefore, it is our opportunity to find something that we could help people connect with, whether it's volunteering, whether it's helping, whether it's joining something. That's how we do Shem Shamayim. That's how we make Kadesh Shem Shamayim Barabim. That's how we give also meaning to our lives, Rabotai. Shabbat Shalom.